one thing out of this, then it'll all be worth it. And I'm excited to do just that. So ask as many questions as you want. There are no stupid questions when it comes to this stuff. I wish somebody told me that sooner, because I probably would have learned a lot more quickly. But a little bit about me. My name is Michael Smoak. My social media handles on TikTok and Instagram, where I predominantly produce my content, generate my leads, and grow my business, is HigherUpWellness. I also have a podcast on all platforms called the Higher Up Podcast. And I started the content creation arc in March of 2023. I had no expectations. I had no desires. I had no goals. It was all about one thing. It was creating what I would only call a cathartic release for me to express my passion and my story, because I believe that a lot of people think that getting healthy is simply out of reach because of the narrative that the fitness industry has spun about what it takes to get there. You think great shape, you think bodybuilder, you think living in the gym, chicken and rice, and a lifestyle that involves zero fun. And I learned through a few amazing creators, the OGs of YouTube fitness, if you will, and my own experience, that you can actually get in really killer shape, not necessarily putting in an extraordinary effort for a short period of time, but putting in a moderate effort for an extraordinary period of time. And that's what I preach, is that 90% of success is boiled down to doing the obvious thing for an extraordinary period of time. That's a quote I heard from Alex Hormozy, and I think it applies to fitness, finance, life, and social media growth. So that's what we're going to talk a little bit about today, is how to set yourself up to do the obvious thing to build your personal brand over time, which is what I did by accident and am now doing intentionally, and creating systems and better becoming aware of how I got here. So in March of 23, I started the TikTok page with 0 followers. I got fortunate, and my 4th or 5th video ever, I posted, went to bed, I woke up, it had like 200,000 views, got me my first 10,000 followers. And from there, it continued to grow. So in July of 23, just 3 months later, I quit my cushy 6-figure corporate job on a wing and a prayer with no idea what I was going to do next. All I knew is I had money saved up, and I feel like I could help people. And through failing forward and taking the feedback from that, I built what will be this year's 7-figure coaching business, and the ability to leverage my personal brand and the trust that I've built to create the life that I want for myself. So now the TikTok is at 1.5 million followers in just under 2 years. The Instagram is at 450,000 followers in just under 2 years. And the podcast gets 60 to 100,000 listens a month with 0 paid ads. It's all organic lead traffic. I don't do any marketing. It's all run through me and myself, and leveraging my mildly manic thoughts to go viral on the internet. So that's a little bit about me. I'll open the floor up to you guys. Anything about personal brand building, public speaking, and communication, which is something I harp on a lot in content. If you want to be powerful and positioned as an authority, you need to know how to speak properly. You need to know how to not use filler words, or coaching business. So there's really no holds barred when it comes to the Q&A here. It looks like we got one guy with his hand up already, Mr. Dom.
Hey, thank you for coming on. It's great to be able to speak with you directly. And I was wondering, honestly, so I'm kind of like the same way. Even though I went to school for all this stuff, I learned a lot of what I apply to my life right now, just like from online content creators. And I was wondering, like, what gave you the confidence to know that like what you had learned would be able to help other people? And then, yeah, like basically, how did you start to develop or add value to other people, and then kind of scale that up into something that you can coach people rather than just ranting and letting your thoughts out online?
Bold of you to think I didn't just rant and let my thoughts out online. That's how it started, man. I'm big on creating confidence through evidence. I think that if you don't have confidence that's evidence-based, it's baseless and it's bullshit, and you're not going to be able to lean on anything when you try to do something that challenges your ego or challenges your sense of self, because that's what you're really asking me. How do I get out of my own way and believe that I'm capable of presenting the information that I believe I'm capable of presenting? And that comes from confidence, which comes from evidence. So by the time I had gotten into content, I had done some things that I once thought I couldn't do. I rose quickly throughout my corporate job in corporate America into a management position at an age I didn't think was possible. I was making an amount of money I didn't think was possible. And I ran my first marathon. That was the big thing. And this is all going to make sense in a minute. I believe confidence is a universal language. I don't believe if you get really fit, you'll just be confident in the gym and with your shirt off. I believe the traits and intangibles that you learn from getting really fit, delayed gratification, being a self-starter, overcoming adversity, you can simply translate that into other facets of your life. Like I always say, the moment I realized what the quote from Alex Hormozy, I'm a big Hormozy guy, if that's not blatantly obvious. You don't become confident by shouting affirmations in the mirror, but by having a stack of undeniable proof that you are who you say you are. So outwork your self-doubt. I heard that and I was like, oh, that's fire. That's dope. And then I ran my first marathon, and the second I crossed the finish line under my goal time, I thought, oh, I know what that means. Because 3 months prior, I had never run more than 5 miles, and I was like, I'm fucked. There's no way I can do this. 26 miles, and now I can go out and hit that for a training run on a weekend if I want to. So I share that to say, if you don't believe you're capable of it, it's because you don't have enough evidence to lean on that you can transition into that space. So what I would do is just continue to stack evidence and social proof. I had the hard things I'd done physically. I had already been helping people in my personal life who had come to me and said like, oh, that's really good advice, man. I used it. So eventually I just thought, well, if 5 people can benefit from this, why can't 5,000 or 50,000 or 1,000,000? And the last thing I'll say is your limitation that you're imposing on yourself is entirely within your own head. Like we suffer more in our imagination than in reality. And once you actually put yourself out there, you're going to realize, oh, wow, people needed to hear what I had to say. Because you're going to get that first comment. Someone's like, dude, thank you so much, Dom. This is exactly what I needed to hear today. And then you're just going to be able to rip and use that evidence to continue to provide value. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. Thank you for getting into that. Really gets into it. Thank you.
For sure, man. Good question. Mr. Marcel.
Yes, there you go. Yes, I have a question for you. So I do have a decent following on social media. I have about 130,000 followers across all platforms. Now, my biggest struggle at the moment is actually making like a consistent income from social media. So I wanted to know what advice you would give someone that has, around 130,000 followers across, all the social media platforms.
Yeah. Where do you get the bulk of your following from?
So the majority would be, so the tier list is TikTok and then Instagram and then YouTube. So TikTok is my main one.
And how do you want to make money on the internet? Do you want to be a coach? Do you want to make passive income through views? What do you want that to look like?
Yeah, so in order for it to be more stable for me, I was thinking selling digital products or even doing coaching. Yeah.
Okay. What kind of digital products?
Yeah, so my content is more like related to language learning and all of that. So I was thinking maybe selling like an ebook that teaches people how to learn a language better. So that's kind of like what I had in mind.
Yeah, I'm looking at your content right now. I don't want you to think I'm not paying attention. I'm just doing like a quick miniature audit right here.
No, the majority is not in English. The majority is in Spanish.
I see that. Yeah. I can't say your messaging because it's unclear because I can't fucking read it.
Now, I do have a playlist in English. You can find it on TikTok, but the majority is in Spanish.
Let's say, I always say start with your ideal outcome and then reverse engineer. Like I start with how much I want to make or what impact I want to provide and then work backwards from there. So your goal is to make a consistent income on social media. So the first thing I'm going to challenge you to do is get really uncomfortably specific. Like I have an exercise I do with my coaching clients called U 10.0. And I don't just mean like, oh, I want to make 5K and I want to post valuable content. That's bullshit. That's not specific enough. I say like, who is this person making $10,000 a month on the internet? What do they say? What's their internal dialogue like? How do they speak to others? How's their day-to-day life? Do they take care of their bodies? Do they have a clean home? How do they view the world? How do they view others? How do others view them? Like I get really uncomfortably specific because there's research that shows we're somewhere between 40 and 50% more likely to achieve our goals if we just write it down. And so I believe why not take that to the nth degree and get uncomfortably specific. And then you do that exercise, the who, the what, the why, the where, the how, the when. You set a SMART goal, pretty good cliche that I learned in business school. SMART is specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, and timely. So is the goal specific? Can you measure the progress of how you're getting there? Is it actionable? Can you actually do it? Like if I was missing both my legs, it probably wouldn't be an actionable goal for me to become a sprinter. So do you have the facilities to, it's kind of a morbid example, but you get what I'm saying. Do you have the facilities to take action on that goal? Is it realistic? Like if you want to make 100 grand tomorrow, that's probably not realistic. But if you want to make 100 grand this year, that's probably realistic. You could also say relevant is what the R stands for. Like if the goal is to be a fitness coach and you make language content, that's not relevant. And then timely. I want to make this much and have this many followers by this date. So do that. Next thing I'll say, once you've outlined that person, that goal, that idea, let it go. Completely detach yourself from the outcome. Do not have an anticipation of it anymore. You've got the image. You know what the person looks like. Simply begin existing in that as that person. Like James Clear in his book Atomic Habits says, we don't rise to the level of our goals, we fall to the level of our systems. So set the goal and then let it go out into the ether and then focus on your systems. And if the goal is income and freedom through social media, then the systems need to be creating content that is valuable, personable, relatable, punctual, to the point, that ultimately funnels people to your page and ultimately funnels people to your product. And from there, I would say, like the practical advice on the business I would give is the Gary Vee approach: jab, 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 right hook, free value, free value, free value, product or call to action. That's what I do. Except I go more like jab, 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 right hook. I do a lot of free value, and it's why like the coaching community did so well. We did $30,000 in like 48 hours because I didn't promote a product for 6 months. And so I built the piggy bank up. So all of that to say, the last thing I'll say to you is become relentless on becoming a value-based language coach and give as much away as you can for free on your social media. Because why would I buy for you if I don't even know what you can give me for free? But if you show me, holy shit, this is what this guy does for free, what can you do if I pay him? That's my approach, is give it all away for free and sell the implementation. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Cool. I have no idea what order those hands came up in, but I don't want to.
I think Aiden is
anything.
next, I believe.
All right, and I'll try to be quicker with these answers, but they're good questions, and I think everybody benefits from them.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Awesome, man. So I'm also kind of like in the health, sports, fitness, and recovery space. I worked with like Tom Brady's company, and I worked at the University of Utah. And I'm trying to rebuild my brand again to create like a digital program as well. I'd say what were your biggest challenges you faced when you started your brand, and how did you overcome them, and how did you like find your unique style and like all that and your voice in this wellness space when it's so saturated? Not saturated, but you know.
Yeah. Well, it is saturated, but it's saturated with assholes. And so when you're not an asshole, you stand out. At least that's my opinion. But, you know, I was thinking of it. I love that you asked this because I've been thinking about this a lot. Like, why is it working? What is the growth? Like, if you guys, just like, if you never heard of me, just go look at my shit. It looks terrible. I'm just going to call it what it is. Like, I don't have lighting. I don't have editing. It looks like this. It's me. Like you're on FaceTime with me, like what Riley looks like right now, that's what all my videos look like. I'm in my fucking car. They're totally impulsive. I think the difference between this shit working and not working for me, number one, I think God's grace has been tremendous. I think that he's blessed me beyond measure. And I think that for some capacity, this is what I'm supposed to be doing because the rate of growth relative to what other people are doing in space doesn't make sense. So I think God's grace is a tremendous part of this for me. However, I think the only difference between me and a lot of creators who are having a hard time making it is I am not afraid to say exactly what I'm thinking when I'm thinking it. Like a lot of people are like, oh, if your biceps aren't growing, here's how you can grow. I don't give a fuck about that. Everybody's talking about that shit. Like the personal brand side doesn't come from your knowledge base. It comes from your delivery of the knowledge and your willingness to be yourself. Like I've talked about my breakup. I talked about how my dad died in January. I talked about how hard it's been. Like a lot of people see people like you that are super fit and think you sit in this ivory tower and you don't experience struggle. I talk about the shit that I go through frequently. And I've noticed two things in my business. The more free value I give away, the more here exactly is how you do it. Don't care if you pay me. The more of that I give away and the more uncomfortably vulnerable I am to be about my day-to-day life, the more money I make. And the more trust I get, because that money is simply a byproduct of trust and goodwill. So the barrier I faced was how authentic am I willing to be? And that is simply the amount of time between when I have a thought that I become convicted on and the amount of time I pick up my phone, because that gives me less time to filter the thought. And my most viral videos ever in my content creation career are pretty much entirely inside of my car. Like, my most viewed video ever isn't a fitness video. I would call it a top of funnel video. It's me reviewing an Oreo flavored Coke Zero, and it has 10 million views. Marcel's shaking his head. That's a top of funnel video. That has nothing to do with my offer, but it gives people an insight into my personality. It's a funny video. I'm trying a buzzing food item at the time. And my goal wasn't to get you to buy from me. I was literally on the way to the gym and I saw this Coke and I was like, what the fuck? And then I was going to go train. I was like, you know what? I'll film it. Fuck it. Completely impulsive. And then it was my most viewed video ever. So radical authenticity is the barrier you're going to have to climb. And that's entirely mental. Do not just be a fitness coach, be a human being. Is that helpful?
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Who we got next? Oh, open the queue. It's in order. Looks like I've got Bikram and then Vivek and then Carlos, Riley, and Joe. So, Bikram, you want to go next, brother?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Cool, man. So one question that I've had for a while, and you touched on it briefly too, is like, you said give the free value and then sell the implementation, right? I guess one thing often, like, I've wondered, like, if you get everything away for free, it's like, what's the paid version? Like, how much more can you give if someone's like paying you whatever amount? Like, how do you suddenly like justify that, right, when everything's free? And it's like how do you like sell the implementation? How do you market that?
Yeah, that's the paradox, right? If I give it all away for free, what do I have to buy? Or what do I have to sell? It's completely counterintuitive, but I will tell you, it works. Like, if you keep this school of thought, here's what the consumer says. Oh, well, he puts everything behind a paywall. I don't fucking trust that guy. Not even a little bit. I'll give you an example. I know this works and I have full belief in it. So my coaching offer is very simple. I tell people up front, this is not a custom program. This is a protocol. Protocol indicates you put X input in, you get Y output out. This is not tailored to you. You don't need a tailored program. You need a fucking program. You don't need something custom. You need to just stick with something. And the transformations have been insane because I preach compliance, not customization. And in the last 3 days, we've had 19 signups. Now, this is a low ticket offer. I'm taking the volume approach. We've had 19 signups, so it's like $2,000, a little more, maybe 3,000 in revenue in 2 days. But it corresponded exactly with a video I posted that is going viral on both my platforms. And it is a step-by-step, and I mean step-by-step, program, nutrition, how to calculate calories, training program. I say, like, go watch this video. I have a program for free. And everyone's like, bro, thank you for the free game. Thank you for the free game. And that is where you build goodwill and trust. And eventually all they're really paying for is what you guys are here for right now. You could go get all the shit you're getting from me right now in my content. What you're paying for is the ability to know it right now, to have access to me right now, and to not have to sift through all my shit to find what you're looking for. You effectively rise from coach to consultant when you give away free value. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, no, that's perfect. I think I've been like struggling with that for a while, but I think just kind of like almost like the same thing. So like hearing it live from you, it's just like when you hear it live, it just sinks in more. It's like, oh shit, like now it's like, now I got it.
Yeah.
There's no other secret there, right? But like you're reaffirmed that there's nothing else that you're missing, and it's just like hearing it from the source is helpful. So thank you.
And last thing I'll say about that is a lot of people will see you tell them exactly how to do it and then go, yeah, but I still want it done for me. So like some people are going to see that video, but they know that my program, they get an app with the exact training already laid out. The tutorials are for exercises already laid out, a big document. And they're like, yeah, I don't even want to have to think about it. I want to buy back my time. And sometimes that's your client too. So great question.
Man. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Who's next in the queue? We got Vivek. You're up next, my friend.
How you doing?
Yeah, brother.
So I had a question about the suppression of expression leads to depression.
You've been watching the videos.
I've been watching videos. So with that one, I feel like I've been posting content now for a while, and I've started to build like this audience. But sometimes I'll post like a video, and I wouldn't say like controversial, but sometimes it like it doesn't land well, and then you start seeing all these comments or like the DMs and stuff. How do you get past that?
How do I get past it? Is that what you have? How do I get past, like, let's say,
I mean,
hate
it's not like a
comments?
huge problem for me because I know that's part of it, and for me, it's just kind of just like, oh, you're helping the algorithm by commenting, but.
Well, first off, let's acknowledge it's enough of a problem that you wanted to ask a question about it. So you don't have to minimize it. I mean, people are assholes. So that's valid. You're valid to ask that question. And I get unalive yourself DMs like every day. So I know what it's like. And I recently made angry a particular group of people on the internet known as the PCOS girlies. And those bitches are catty. So they say some really mean stuff to me. And the simplest answer is my identity is not rooted in my videos. Like, I understand a couple of things to be true. Number one, these people don't know me. You made an opinion on me based on a 45-second video. You're fucking stupid. Why would I value your opinion anyway? And, I made a video a while back about how I occasionally listen to Joe Rogan. And I think he's a great interviewer. I think he's had Huberman on, Dr. Rhonda Patrick, Peter Attia, people I love in the fitness space. And I'm like, I know Rogan is going to ask the shit I would ask. So I'm going to go listen to that. I also think he's funny. And people are like, this guy likes Rogan. He must be a piece of shit person. Like, what? And so my point in saying that is you don't have to agree with everything somebody says to take bits and pieces and valuable information from them. And if you acknowledge those two truths, and the last thing I'll say is you'll never be shit on by anybody doing better than you. Ever. Ever. They're too busy. They are too busy. So, like, simply ask yourself the question, would I trade places with that person? And if the answer is no, then you just keep it pushing. And there's a great quote. I can't remember the person who said it, but he said, if you're not pissing anybody off, you're probably not doing anything very important. So remember that too. All right?
For sure. Thank you.
You got it, bro. Next up, we got Carlos. You're next in the queue, my friend.
Hey, how you doing, Michael?
Good, brother.
Good. Well, I just wanted to ask you a quick question. I'm pretty new to posting on social media and everything like that. I'm in the real estate space, but was there something that you did when you started your coaching program to really increase your ability on teaching and kind of take all the knowledge that you have and implement it in a very concise and deliberate way so it's most effective for your audience?
Yeah, good question. So how did I take what I knew and build it into a deliverable that the client or person could receive it? Is that the question?
Yeah, exactly. Because for me, I feel like I have a lot of knowledge, but I feel like my teaching abilities are not up to where I want them to be. So is there anything that you did to kind of improve that?
Great question. Yes. The first thing I'm going to say is going to be uncomfortable for you a little bit. And it's going to be, how well do you know it if you're not confident in teaching it? Now, I'm not making any presumptions. I'm posing the question to you. I don't know. You might actually be an expert and you are just genuinely struggling. But before I make content about something, I know, like my dad used to say, how I birthed my love for public speaking was through him. He'd tell me from an early age, when he would get up and do presentations or he was going to a big meeting, there's no better feeling in the world than standing up in front of a group of people and knowing there's not a question they can ask me about this that I don't know the answer to. So if you feel firm on that, you should not have an issue teaching it, because if you could explain it to a 7th grader, you understand it. The second thing is an actual practical tip. Put shit down. Like, put it on paper, type it, whatever your deliverable is. When I started fitness coaching, I was giving out people handwritten Word documents and emailing it to them via PDF, and it looks like a pile of hot dog shit. But I couldn't have gotten to where I am now leveraging apps like Trainerize and School and having a clean deliverable with Zap automations built in if I didn't first start with that piece of shit PDF. Like, it's a theory, like the stone in front of you won't reveal itself until you step on the one directly in front of you. Then the next one becomes clear. It's like I made that first iteration and then I continued reiterating. There's an entrepreneur on here. I know I'm saying a lot of quotes. I want you guys to know none of my thoughts are really original. I just like listening to people smarter than me. One guy said, if you want to be a great entrepreneur, you have to get really okay with putting out shit that's like 60% good. Do that and then iterate. That's my advice.
Okay. Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, man. Riley, you are next up in the queue.
Heck yeah! First off, I'm gonna glaze you a little bit. Michael, one of my favorite influencers on social media. So just wanted to say that.
Thanks, bro.
Um,
Thank you.
And Carlos kind of like took my original question, so I changed mine up a little bit, which was like, I'm listening to you speak, and you pretty much sound exactly like you do in your videos. How you're talking to us right now, it sounds like I'm listening to a video, but live. Is there any kind of mindset or anything you did other than just, talking to the camera and posting more that helped you go from, I guess, sounding like you're trying to, whenever you first start posting on social media and you sound like you're trying to tell people, you're trying to be authoritative or you're trying to sound credible. Is there anything you did that helped you kind of develop your natural like brand, like voice or tone? Because that's something I struggle with right now, trying to make talking head videos. I listen to them back. They sound good in the moment. And then after they're up, I'm just thinking like that's not what I sound like. And I'm trying to figure out how to sound more authentic and natural to be like you said, it's all about authenticity. And I feel like when I listen to my videos of me talking, I don't sound very authentic. And so I'm trying to kind of figure out like what I can do to work on that.
Yeah. Good question, man. I'll ask you a question before I get into that. And you can be honest, do I sound inauthentic in the way I'm delivering this information on the call? Or do I sound like this is how I speak and who I am?
I mean, to me, this sounds like how you speak.
Yeah, it's not. It's an on switch. If you were to meet me on the street, like I ran into a guy at the store this morning who knew who I was, very different. I talk very much banter style. I crack a lot of jokes. I say a lot of goofy shit. I'm less buttoned up. So it's a mix of an on switch of executive presence and communication skills mixed with my authentic thoughts and self. But I've found the best way to relay that information is in more of that business executive presentation delivery. Like I'm giving a PowerPoint with a little more personality. You think about like Tony Robbins or Simon Sinek, or if you guys have a pastor that you love at a church you go to, they're not exactly the same. If you were to meet them one-on-one, like my pastor is a guy named Philip Anthony Mitchell. I don't know if you guys are religious, but 2819 Church is huge on the internet right now. And I had the chance to spend a few hours with him one-on-one. The dude does not speak the way he preaches. It's different, but both are authentic. So find the on switch through practice. What's up? You got a question?
Oh, no, that's a great point, because I'm trying to work on a dating offer, which is kind of weird. Already I'm always like thinking about my family and everyone seeing my content. But I think back to, I've been trying to help my friends first so I can really kind of understand how I'm going to approach other people. And I notice when my friends ask me questions that I know the answer to, I notice I go into detail and I'm able to, collect my thoughts very clearly in a concise way. And the other day I was pretty much explaining a concept to my friend. And then after I got done, he was like, wow, like that makes so much sense. Like what you said, you put it into words so perfectly. And it made me realize I'm trying to figure out when I'm making videos to almost like pretend there is someone right in front of me that I'm trying to teach. Because I notice when I actually teach someone, my natural, tone and like what you're saying right now, that switch, like I naturally just like switch into that mode, and I notice I sound so much better. And I was just trying to figure out how to go from there to putting it into like on camera. And so that's it. That's the art. And you're only going to get that through building the callus of continuing to post. If you look at my first videos ever, I posted my first video ever like 2 weeks ago. Dog shit, horrible. But it got better because I got more comfortable. I also went to college for a major called professional sales, where they drill you on public speaking, filler words, and turning that switch on of being human but being professional. So I have a bit of a head start. We got 2 years of training. So there's that. So my advice to you to close this out would be continue to build the callus and just get okay with you hating the first 50 videos the way that you sound. And then eventually you find that on switch and that balance of authenticity and professional delivery. Okay. Awesome. Thanks, man.
Yes, sir. Riley, you are next in my queue, my friend.
No, I think it's me. Riley just is a bit stupid and didn't put his hand down. So, so
we got Joe.
I wanted to ask quickly. Your content is it's not all over the place, but you post what you want when you want. That's kind of what I see from it, and that's kind of where I'm at. I do shit from like a cold plunge series to like motivational tips and mindset tips and fitness tips. Do you think there is a big importance on niching down and staying in one niche, or do you think you can, if your content is good enough, just be broad and post whatever the fuck you want, whenever you want?
Yeah, this is a great opportunity. I gave a presentation in Dallas at the AR Funnel Lead Summit. They're the automation company I use. Incredible company. I'm going to quickly, if I have the capability, I'm going to quickly show you this slide and then kill my screen share because it illustrates the point really well. Can y'all see that? A brief break from the C's. Beautiful. This was the 5 C's for organic growth on social media. And you can go, this is an episode of my podcast. I think it's like episode 35 or something. You'll find it. It's called like something about authenticity. Anyway, the point of this slide is very simple. You said, do I need to stay in a niche? I would argue you are the niche. So you look at these videos, they're my most viewed videos on TikTok ever. So we've got like 25 million views across these videos. And what do they have in common? Absolutely nothing. Left side, Coca-Cola review. Middle, interview tips to land your next job. Far right, magnesium, vitamin D, electrolyte video on the importance of those supplements for the human body. That, at face value, someone would say, oh, bro has no personal brand. Bro has no focus. Bro's not niche down. I don't give a fuck. All these videos were completely off the cuff. So when you feel compelled, create something. And that thing specifically that fitness creators find themselves in of, I need to stay in this style of video because that's what people expect of me. No, that's what you expect of you. So suspend that disbelief that you can't create whatever you want, because I'm living proof that you can. I mean, I have people that know me because I did a series where I ate fast food fish sandwiches every day for a week. That has nothing to do with fitness, but it was my version of like top of funnel content. You're gonna get to know me. I'm gonna be goofy. I'm gonna crack jokes, and people love watching people eat food, which is super weird. And then the more you get to watch me, the more I pop up in your FYP, the more you're gonna realize that I'm a fitness creator and I offer coaching. So when you feel compelled to put something out, put it out. Do not limit yourself to a niche. You are the niche.
I got you. And do you think even when you're like, I got like 200 followers at the moment and I've been slamming it for like 9 months, do you think even then when you're that small, I guess like you see your face and you're like, bro, this guy's got 200K likes, he's huge, he's got 1.5 million followers. But when someone sees me, do you think like, obviously they signify you? Do you understand what I'm saying here? Or not really? I'm not really wording it very well.
As if there's are you asking if there's a correlation between being an authority and the page that backs it? Like, could I have this massive social proof on the video?
Yeah, I'm kind of saying, yeah. Like, you have the social proof, whereas people fall in love with you because you post so much and that you've already got all these followers, whereas it's like, oh, this is just Joe Lemin, etc. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would challenge you with saying, well, what about when I had 100 followers?
100%.
And people still loved it. You know, I've got creators that I followed, like from the For You page. I saw a video a girl posted the other day. She was like, you don't even realize sometimes who's famous. I have a creator that I follow who I thought was a super celebrity. I clicked on her page, 1,000 followers. Like, it comes from the quality of your spoken word and your conviction. That's one of the C's of that presentation I gave. Conviction. People can feel that I give a fuck about fitness. They don't know why. They don't know it's because I lost my dad to a lifestyle-related disease. They don't know that everyone in my family is basically fat, sick, or both. They don't know why I'm convicted, and that doesn't matter. They can feel that I believe what I'm saying, and people are drawn to that. People are craving authenticity. So if you remember that when you post, eventually, dude, you're going to pop. Like Lucas Pachter, Squid Hoss Clothing.
Yeah.
Dude posted 10 times a day for a year and didn't pop until a year in, and now he's got 500,000 and a 7-figure business. So just keep doing it, all right?
Yeah, this is what Owen keeps saying to me, but I'm like, Owen, when is it happening? But yeah, thanks, man.
Detach yourself from the outcome.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Remy, you're next, my friend. What you got?
Hi, Michael. Nice to meet you, first of all. Nice to meet you, man.
You as well.
So, actually, shout out to Joe because he stole me my question. But anyways, I'm going to rotate the question to more of a business point of view. So since I was a little kid, so it's a problem that I had in life, but then it rotated also on my personal brand as well as business choices. So I'm super curious. So I love different businesses. I have a lot of information related to, I don't know, I can probably start 10 businesses based on the knowledge that I have, but I'm not able to stick to one. So I always fuck my mind every time because of this thing of me wanting to go to one business to the other, because I really love all of them. I love the ideas, but how much is important to to go down on one, as well as not fucking your mind on that, because I love to be curious, as well as I know that I don't grow if I don't go only one, like if I don't select only one. You know what I mean?
Yeah. How many are we talking about when you say multiple businesses? Is it 3? Is it 10?
Let's say I have good knowledge, let's say overall good in everything, but not excellent in one. So that's another thing. More Airbnb, let's say real estate, content creation, network marketing, sales. And right now getting into UGC because it's another thing that I like. So let's say between five, something like this, 5, 6.
And let me ask you a question. If I asked you right now, Remy, I want you off the cuff to talk about your favorite thing for 90 seconds. Something you wouldn't have to prepare for. You just could speak on it. Well, which of those would it be?
It's a network marketing because it's a business that I started 2 years ago that I grew up as from a dumbass guy, high school kid to business addict. So more of that for more time reason, let's say.
Yeah. That is probably what you should focus on, because that is the thing you seem the most competent on. If you know, like, oh, I could give a killer pitch on what network marketing is and I have to fucking think about it. That's how I am with fitness, public speaking. Like, do those things necessarily go together? No, but they're like the 2 things I spend the most time on: communication skills and fitness. And so remember, like, what is the thing that if I got called out in a room, no plan, I could give a killer presentation on? That's probably the thing that you should focus on. And the number one most valuable asset you have in your life is your time. So how you spend it, it's the one asset we cannot make more of. How you spend it is critical. So I'm not going to tell you that you can't get wealthy, be successful with 5 businesses. There are people that become millionaires with 1 business. There are people that become millionaires with 17. But at the end of the day, only you can decide what you love, what fires you up, what you can create the most value on, and what you want to spend your time on. That is the biggest thing. It's just ask yourself that question. Am I spending time on all these businesses because I love all of them equally? Or am I spending time on all these businesses because I'm scared to really niche down on one thing? Figure that out, and you can be more successful.
Related to, connected to this is a really quick one. When it comes to personal branding, because they're also in personal branding, this thing it really influences, because I'm able to speak about leadership, sales, personal branding, content creation. So I think it's connected to what Joe said. So there's no real a niche that you need to stick it, but like people love you, so they're gonna listen to everything you say, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's
yeah,
really
that's exactly right.
Okay, cool, man. That's it. Thank you, man.
You got it, brother. Samuel, Mr. McCullough, you're up next, my friend.
What is going on? How are you?
How's it going, man? I'm well.
I'm doing great. And I'm really happy that I'm able to be on this call. About 2 months ago, I joined Owen's group, and probably about
Sam, I'm losing you. Hold on,
I would say 3 weeks
out a little bit.
I was kind of like debating on if I wanted to.
There he is.
1 second. I'm gonna join on my phone. Give me 2 seconds.
That's fine. Yeah, you were choppy as hell. I could barely hear you. I want to make sure I can hear what you're saying.
All right, you got me?
Much better.
You got me? All right, perfect. So back, it was like January 15th is when I started posting on social media. I would say it was that day I had a call with Owen, and he was like, if you don't post by the end of the night, I'm going to text you or you're going to be leaving the group. And so I had this big old thought in my head. I was like, okay, what do I enjoy doing? What do I want to talk about? And I took a quote from my dad that he talked about that motivated me as a kid in order to not think about so deeply what, other people are thinking about you and doing the things that you actually enjoy doing. And not only did this take me to a certain level where I was able to improve my own physical and mental well-being, but it put me in a spot where I'm able to now post and talk about shit that I actually enjoy talking about. And I would say that my reasoning in joining this call today is because obviously I would like to get to hear what you have to explain about maybe what I'm currently thinking about. And what I'm currently thinking about is that I am involved in my family business, and I really enjoy doing things as talking into a camera, speaking to people, giving people opinions or options that would maybe better their own life, yet I'm struggling with that in my own life. So it's one of the biggest things that I think I'm dealing with right now, and it's pulling me away from the things that I actually enjoy doing, which sucks. So I guess based on what I'm thinking is, what do you believe, based on just me talking and going back to that 90-second rule of, what do you enjoy doing? What do I really enjoy doing is public speaking. I love it. I'm in sales, been doing it for 2.5 years, and it's something I really enjoy, and just wanted to kind of get a glimpse on maybe what your words on that would be for myself, just based on what I was saying.
As far as what it would go, how it would pertain to your posting?
Posting and maybe content that I'm putting out on a regular basis. I'm kind of just like throwing shit out there and like stuff that like you were saying comes to your mind, what you think about right then and there, and just posting it. And that's what I've been doing. And I'll get some shitty feedback from like even like people that I thought were my friends, and like I don't really care anymore. And now I just continue to post because I don't care what people think. So getting past that point as well. So I guess it's what niche I'm getting into, and to be honest with you, I really don't care what niche it is. It's just you need to consistently post and not give a fuck what people think. So kind of the consistency, I would say, it's like, what do you want to be consistent with? What do you want to be consistent with talking about? Is it public speaking? Is it helping people? Is it your training? Is it, what you're making every single day? I don't know. So I think that me trying to figure that out, I'm in almost like a rut, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I hear you. It sounds like a little bit you coach yourself through that, and to saying it out loud was where I think a lot of the power comes. That's why I have a big coaching community as well, and I make people call out what they did wrong last week or what they want to do better this week, because if you just say it in front of a group of people, sometimes, one, you make it real, make it easier to correct, and number two, I could tell Samuel, you didn't really need to ask me anything. I think you just needed to say that out loud, and that was the value. Like, you kind of started to answer your own question, and you were going to say what I was going to say, which is like all of it, that you're the niche, all of it, create all of it. Gary Vee has a great saying, fuck creating, start documenting. Like whatever you're doing that day, fucking talk about it. Like the day in the life of me being in sales for my family business. Just start documenting. That is the power, that is the root or the essence of the personal brand is, well, I know Samuel can teach me how to public speak, but I'm invested in Samuel's life. I want to know what he's doing. In a world, a mentor told me once, like in a world where we have never been more connected through this shit, people have never felt more alone. And that is why I think of Sam Sulek. Like people need to do a case study on that guy, because nothing about his content is sexy. Nothing about his day is sexy. Brother wakes up, eats 5 meals, and goes to the gym and films it for an hour, and all of us watch because we feel like we're there. Like that's his superpower. So bring people into your life and create whatever that looks like for you in the moment. And it does not have to be coherent. It could be totally different day to day. It's ultimately for all of you that are dealing with this struggle. Like, what do I create? It's all bullshit. Your brain is trying to protect you. You need to give yourself permission to create whatever the fuck you want to create. I'm doing another 7 days of fast food fish, eating a fast food fish sandwich every day. Why? Because that series crushed last year, and it's Lent, so they have the fish sandwich back. Does that have anything to do with me being shredded or training for High Rocks? Fuck no. But it's going to give a bunch of people in a different part of the algorithm the opportunity to see me, and that's the power. And I'm giving myself permission to pivot if I want to, stop creating it if I want to. It's all about permission.
Right. I'm really happy that I'm able to be as real as possible about it, because I think that that's one of the biggest things that people struggle with is being real with their own thoughts. And if you're not real with your own thoughts, then you're just going to sit there and kind of like you were saying in your past video, but expression of expression leads to depression, and you're doing that in your head, and it's just continuing to evolve, but you're not revolving. So it's tough.
Yeah, man, it is. You got to get out of your own way. And the only way you're going to do it is by putting one foot in front of the other.
Exactly. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
You got it, brother. Brianna, what's your question, ma'am?
I have a question on what book or podcast helped you change your mindset in business or life or anything personal?
Yeah. First one is definitely the Higher Up podcast. I'm just kidding. That is my podcast, though, available on all platforms. Please check it out. I talk about the stuff you're asking for advice on. So the question, what helped me change my mindset around business and my life? Was that the question?
Yeah, either or, because they kind of mix. So just kind of how you helped grow your mindset, like starting from the beginning to where you are now? Because that's probably way different than when you first started.
Yeah. I think it's more about core beliefs than any one. I mean, there's definitely some creators, some shows I'll recommend to you, but I've mentioned my dad a few times on this call. Like, that guy was my best friend and taught me a lot of valuable things. I believe my dad was a really special human being. The way I always said, like, if my dad existed in the era of social media, he'd have 3 times the followers I do. Like, the guy was just special. He knew how to connect with people. He commanded a room. Like, everyone saw him as like 10 feet tall and bulletproof. Anytime there was a speaking, a eulogy, an engage, like, he was the guy, right? And he taught me these core principles every single day. Like, literally, like Pavlov's dogs conditioned me, would say the same things to me, drop me off at school every day. And then one of the things he said often was that everybody knows something that you don't. And very simple, but it is not very easy to apply. Like, we live in a world now where it's very easy to get triggered by what somebody says. And Peter Crone has this great quote: life will present you with people and circumstances to reveal to you where you are not free. And I love that, because I'll give you an example. I don't agree with the carnivore diet. I think it's fucking stupid. I think that you can use it maybe as a tool for a little while, maybe as an elimination diet, maybe if you just like experimenting. I've done carnivore. But for life, no. Nutrient deficiencies, lack of fiber, it doesn't make sense. However, if I had just said carnivore is stupid and I'm not interested, I never would have learned from Paul Saladino how nutrient-dense red meat is. And I preach that all the time, but I also eat fruits and vegetables. So because I was able to see past the things with him I disagreed with, I learned some incredible stuff. I think Alex Hormozy has some takes that I think are like sort of void of emotion and a little bit weird. And personally, I think Alex is probably on the spectrum and has a lot of trauma. He has a lot of trauma, and that's where a lot of his success comes from, is he has a wounded relationship with his dad. I don't agree with that. However, Alex Hormozy is worth $100 million. That guy knows something that I don't. So the practical advice I will give you is, every new creator you encounter or every new source of information, don't say, do I agree or disagree with this person? Say, what can this person teach me? Because everybody can teach you something. The fucking homeless guy in the corner knows something I don't. And living my life through that lens has given me the opportunity to learn the diverse stuff that I'm sharing with y'all today, because I'm open to learning from different people in different disciplines. If it comes down to switching your mindset, the 2 things I'll give you: the book, Atomic Habits by James Clear, because he beats you to death with logic. There is no room for emotion. By the end of that book, you will think, wow, I'm an idiot if I don't have better habits. And probably one of the best podcasts is Chris Williamson's Modern Wisdom. And I like his solo episodes where he takes his biggest lessons from the previous 30 guests he's had on. Williamson's a lot like Rogan, but he's not, that's not true. Williamson is similar to Rogan in the interview style, but he is a lot more buttoned up. Like, he has a list of questions, he has a tablet, he wants to get to the value of the person he's interviewing, and he has interviewed some very successful people. So check that show out and look for your favorite guests. And the last piece I'll give you, I get asked a lot, like, what self-development books I read, and I've read a couple, but I hate reading. So the cheat code that I don't hear anybody talk about is find the author of the self-development book that everybody says you must read and go listen to them on a podcast, because they'll give you every high-value bullet point from their book in 90 minutes, and you can just borrow from that school of thought. Is that helpful?
Super helpful. Thank you. So basically just moving past your ego and everything that you do, which is
correct. Have no ego. You cannot teach a man or woman that which he or she thinks she already knows. And so every day I wake up and I know nothing. If I didn't believe that, I would have a very flawed and fucked up approach on nutrition and would not be as successful as I am right now. I have had to have the power to change my mind. Last thing I'll say about this, Lane Norton has a quote: if you want to look for a real expert in the space, like, let's say you want to learn about fitness. If you want to look for, like, how do I discern if this person's full of shit or not? Because there's a lot of people full of shit in fitness specifically. Lane Norton is like the science-based authority on fitness and nutrition, has been for a decade. He says, if you want to look for a real expert, look for the words they use and listen carefully. Look for words like, this might be good for you, or this may create a better health outcome. Anyone who speaks in absolutes, like that scene in Star Wars, only Siths speak in absolutes. Only bad guys speak in absolutes. If you speak in absolutes, like, the worst thing you can do is eat vegetables, that person's a fucking idiot. And that's also somebody who's not willing to change their mind barring new information coming in. So just high level, look for people that are saying words like might or may, because that implies they're willing to change their thought when new information is presented. Okay? Hope that helps. Let's see. Dakota. What's up, my man?
What's going on, man? Hey, genuinely, I do want to say thank you for all the free sauce, because I found your page, I want to say like in the summer of last year, and I've been slamming electrolytes and salt when I wake up ever since. So thank you.
Target audience reached.
Oh yeah. But I feel like everyone's had really good questions, and I feel like everything I was going to ask, someone asked in some way, shape, or form. So I just kind of want to get your take. Is there anything that you should just straight up not do on social media? I mean, obviously there's some things we all know you shouldn't do, but that maybe you've seen and you're like, hey guys, learn from my mistakes. Don't open this door.
No one's ever asked me that before.
That's a great
Everyone
question.
always asks me to, everyone always asks me to do's. No one ever asked me to do not.
See, and that's where I'm like, I'm hearing a lot of do this, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna keep doing this, but what the hell do we not do?
Can
Like,
I
what is just
can I say
don't
something
touch?
real quick about this, Michael?
Yeah, of course. Please. I need time to think.
I would say don't give in to hate comments. Like don't entertain them or give a lot of validity to them. If you genuinely are trying and speaking about something you're a professional in and you're trying to help people, I would not spend time entertaining and bringing your energy down looking at hate comments. That's the only one.
That's a good one, because I've gotten bad about maybe like commenting something back or stitching a video when I just shouldn't be like even entertaining it.
Yeah.
Like the what is it? Some mountains who just can't understand what a caloric deficit is and that they're sedentary.
Yeah, you gotta let those people walk into the fiery pit of despair alone. Don't let them bring you down into it. I actually really like Owen's advice there. Like, I will only leverage a hate comment in the form of a video response if I know it will create engagement, truthfully. Like, I used to fly blind on all of this, but there are some comments where I'm like, oh, this is going to get views if I respond to it. And I don't respond to it like fighting them back. I just will be comedic or even do the yes and approach. Like, yes, I can be a bit of an idiot or a dumbass. And then they're like, well, you disarm their anger with something positive. And they're like, fuck. Like, I've had people who DM me like, you seem like a real douchebag. And I'm like, hey, man, look, I get it. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. Appreciate you reaching out. Hope whatever you're dealing with or going through gets better. Much love. And they're like, oh, fuck, you're actually based. Like, yeah. So, like, the fight, kill them with kindness. That's a don't for sure. Don't engage with hate comments because you're legitimately triggered by them. That's bullshit. That's not good. And it makes you look weak in your position of whatever you're talking about, right? Like, if you get mad at someone telling you you're wrong for caloric deficit, I would be like, does he really believe what he's talking about if he's that easily shaken? That's just my take. The other don't do's, like, I personally, I don't believe, unless you're a political creator, like, don't talk politics. Don't use slurs. God, don't say crazy shit that you know is mean. And never, ever, ever compromise your ethics. What I mean by that is as you guys grow on social media, you will get opportunities, big ones. And the money can be crazy. Like, I've turned down hundreds of thousands of dollars this year for brands that is like, no, I'd rather be shot in the leg than make a video about you assholes, because I don't like what you promote and I don't like what you believe in. So never, ever, ever, someone says, like, you get one shot on the internet to sell your dignity. You might get two, but you get it's your trust. And, I partnered with Celsius energy drinks. I'm literally drinking one right now. I bought this one. This one wasn't even free. When I've been drinking that shit for 6 months. Like, oh, it's not good for you. No, I don't believe in any of that bullshit. It's an energy drink. It's not a big deal. And now they pay me. And so, like, I have people like, oh, bro, sold out for the bag, the Celsius downfall. And that doesn't get to me because I know, like, I use this product and I like it. And I probably spent $1,000 on this brand. And now I'm just fortunate enough to get paid and have them send me free shit. Like, I'm going to go for that. So never, ever, ever. If I hated Celsius and this whole time I've been preaching about how dangerous energy drinks are for you, and then I took that deal, my career's fucked. So always put your longevity first and your trust and authenticity of your followers first, because it does not exist. Your business does not exist unless people watch you, trust you, and like you. So don't sell your soul. That's what I'm saying.
Sweet. Thank you. That was definitely a good answer.
You got it, brother. You got it. Let's see, Mr. Dom, and then we can close out with Jaden.
All right. Thank you so much for your time again.
For sure.
So something that I wanted to bring up is that at least throughout school and everything, things were very ordered, structured, and then especially working right now corporate. I mean, that's just another thing. But then getting into social media, it's just a lot more ambiguous. So I was just wondering if you have any tips to make it more tactical. So any metrics that you're tracking, any strategies that you're using, like posting across platforms, prioritizing platforms, creating YouTube videos to validate yourself, script videos, ideating content.
Yeah, dude, it's a slippery slope. I've wasted a lot of fucking days. I've wasted a lot of days doing nothing because I know I've got money in the bank or money coming in and I don't have a boss and like blah, blah, blah. And I've looked up and I'm like, fuck, I have so much anxiety because I didn't do anything again. And so I'm not going to sit here and tell you I've cracked the code because that's bullshit. Because honestly, I mean, one of the beauties is like, once I get off this call with y'all today, I'm going to fuck off the rest of the day. I have stuff I want to do and I'm going to do it. And a manager in sales in one of my corporate jobs said something that I kind of think of every day, and it aligns to what I talk about. And also, and I text you, I don't know if you saw it, but like, I'm happy to go over the hour. No big deal. If we need to go to 1:45, that's totally fine. He said, if you do 3 things every day, which is get a new lead, move a prospect forward in the pipeline, and make like 10 cold calls. Like that, if you do those 3 things every day. Kayla, can you go on mute, please? I'm getting some feedback in your microphone.
I got it. My bad.
Okay, thank you. No worries. And so I was like, that's not a lot. That's very doable. It's very doable. I can do those 3 things in a 12-hour day. And so I preach to my clients, like, don't have ceilings in your fitness. I preach floors. What are the bare minimums that no matter what life throws at you, you can get done and you can feel good about it at the end of the day. And for my clients and myself, it's 10,000 steps a day, hit your protein goal, gym 3 days a week. So I found floors within my business that no matter what I do, no matter how lazy I feel, I know I can maintain. And that's 1 to 2 posts a day, respond to 1 to 3 DMs from followers, 2 story posts, and even if it's just like write 1 sentence, work on a piece of creative for my coaching community. Even if it's literally like I opened the slide and I wrote like SpongeBob, what I learned in boating school is, and then I'm done. If I do that, mainly it's about creating a positive feedback loop of dopamine, because that's how goals work in our brain neurologically. Like if I hit my floor, I go, yes, I did it. And then anything above my floor is a bonus and increases my compliance. So my answer to you is, you're going to have rough days, give yourself grace, but find your 3 to 5 floors that you build into every day that if I just do these things, I know it'll be a productive day, and I'm probably going to do a little bit more anyway. Is that helpful?
Yeah, that's helpful. And then actually, if you could just talk specifically about what you do across platforms, if you have any type of strategy there.
Yeah, this is where I'm going to tell you not to take my advice. I should run a lot more like a business than I do for being the size that the platforms are. I have no drafts. I have no content scheduled out. That's why everything's in my car. Like, it's all completely off the rip, or while I'm walking. Do not do that. I'm not advising that. I think I'm very lucky to get convicted about multiple things a day, and it's also kind of a pain in the ass because my brain is always going a million miles an hour, and the videos help. What I do is I do cross-post everything, and I post on TikTok first. So anything you see on my IG was 99% of the time on TikTok first, and I just simply post it on TikTok. And recently TikTok changed. I don't know if this is the case for y'all. What I was having to do is download the video or save the link, copy the link, and then run it through snaptik.com to take the TikTok watermark off. And now when I post on TikTok, it just goes to my camera roll without the watermark on it. So that's dope. I cross post typically TikTok, Instagram, same time, like post it, go straight over to IG, post it. I post 1 to 3 times a day on both platforms. And then I'm failing, but I'm reincorporating posting on YouTube Shorts as well, because that's been good for my growth for my podcast. So those are my posts. If you want to call that a strategy, my only strategy is I have not missed a posting day. I think I've missed 2 days in the last 18 months. Like very, very militant about not missing a post. That's the most important thing you can do. And I engage. I'll budget like 30 minutes to an hour a day just engaging with my followers. Comments, responses, DMs, because that's how you foster real community, is unfortunately in developing that parasocial relationship. Like that's just part of the game. Is that helpful?
Yeah, that's super helpful. It's actually kind of funny because it's I've listened to you and one other person talk, and both of you said, "Don't take my advice. I just come up with it on the spot." So
Yeah,
I mean, encouraging. Yeah.
We had a guy, Bennett Luke, fitness guy, smaller creator. It's like it's like 20K on Insta, and we had him come in and do a talk as well. And he said the same thing. He's like, I lean into like creating when inspired and not having a huge content plan because it really strips authenticity. I've tried it personally, and you need to like as soon as you feel inspired, go create immediately. That's how I see it.
Yeah. I work with a coach, not a fitness coach. He's sort of like I don't know, call him a fucking guru. The guy's vertically connected to the greater power, whatever that is. And his name's Kian Lagi. Highly recommend you look him up. Interesting dude. Kian is Keyen. Lagi is Lage. And then watch his reels. But he is my coach, and he talks a lot about like clearing the shit out of your brain, filling in the cracks in your head so that you can stay connected to divine inspiration. And it aligns really well with what I'm talking about. Like, I just feel convicted, and what Owen just said, like, I feel inspired. Sometimes I literally feel like a lightning bolt strikes me in the head, and I go, I got to talk about this right now. And I don't plan it. It's one take. I post it, forget it, and that video has 2 million views. I think that's God. I think that was a message. I think I had to send it or relay it. And a lot of times that's my hottest takes that get the most negative feedback. Like, you're a fucking idiot if you don't take care of yourself. You're selfish if you don't take care of yourself. It's these very polarizing things, but that's where that deep conviction comes from. So that's my strategy. My strategy is I operate from conviction and divine inspiration. And when I'm in that place of flow, which can get blocked if there are things in my life I'm putting off, I experienced that recently, conversations I was supposed to have, habits I wasn't maintaining. But when that channel is clear, man, like right now, I looked at the slides. My Instagram, when I made this slide deck January 15th, was at 340,000 followers, and my TikTok is at 1.3, and now the IG's at 450, and the TikTok's at 1.5. So like 300,000 followers in 60 days. In the last 60 days, I have felt inspired as fuck. So operate from inspiration, and like Owen just said, do not plan too much because it strips any form of relatability from you.
One other thing I'll add to that. It's the same thing in business. You have a business idea, you have to act on it quick, or someone else gets that idea. If you have a content idea, you have to immediately make it, or it goes to someone else and someone else benefits. That's how it works.
Yeah. I saw a clip where a guy said the goal in life is to create a razor thin gap between your awareness of something and your execution of that thing.
Immediate.
Like your success will move at the speed of which you are willing to go from aware to executing. And I'm guilty of that. I mean, I'll notice that I need to do shit and put it off, and surprise, it's not as fucking good if I wait. So hopefully that helps, man.
Oh, this is a little cool story. Lil Wayne, he has this thing called 10,000 bars. You can look up 10,000 bars on YouTube. A bar is like 2 or 4 lyrics in a row that rhyme, and he had an entire notebook full of rhymes that he'd written. And then he realized he was never going to get to the next level if he kept going back to his notebook and trying to make rhymes work out of it instead of going off the top of his head when he's inspired. So he made one YouTube video, it's like 30 minutes long, of him going through this entire rhyme scheme and offloading all of it. And so then the next day he had nothing and he was inspired, and that's when he took off. It's really cool.
Crazy how that works. Great question, Dom. I appreciate it, man.
Thank you. Really do appreciate you being here.
Yes, sir. Jaden, and then we got Faye. Jaden, what you got, man?
Hey, Michael. Thanks for your time. Hope you're having a good Friday.
For sure, brother.
I was just asking, like, I know you talk a lot about the Gary Vee, the jab, 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 and you like to do a little extra free value. About how far in or how confident were you? How many followers, how many posts did you start to offer or monetize your stuff?
Good question. I didn't. Like, until literally January 1st of this year. Which, again, not telling you to do that. But one of the other Hormozian beliefs is create content so good that people go looking for your offer. And I didn't have like, oh, I'm at 10,000 followers, now's the time, or I'm at 100,000 followers. I just kept posting with no intention of becoming a coach. This is a problem I think a lot of people deal with. I had a guy who was like, please audit my content. He had 200 followers, and every post was, if you want to go from this to this, DM me. I'm not going to fucking buy from you. Tell me how to go from this to this, and then maybe. So always leading with, I was just like value, value, value. For the first 90 days, probably, I was just making pretty much only fitness and nutrition content. That's just what I wanted to talk about at the time. Now it's more mindset, life. I've been through more. But I had built so much goodwill that my now ex-business partner, he reached out to me and was like, dude, if you don't coach, you should coach because you will make money. And all I did was put a Calendly link in my bio and wrote, if you want to book a coaching call, here it is. And I was within a day booked for a month. I didn't say it. And I maybe did 2 calls to action in 5 months, which was like, hey guys, just so you know, I have a coaching offer. Here's some transformations. Hit me up if you want. But I think 90% of that traffic was totally organic, and it was because people liked what I put out so much. They clicked on my page to view more videos, and they saw, oh shit, he's got a link in his bio, book. So my question, or my advice to you would be, don't look for that point. I made my first $10,000 on social media by accident. Like getting off a call and being like, did that person just agree to pay me? What the fuck? And not really even having a plan. So become relentless with your value, and then you'll kind of start to see demand build up, or people asking, do you coach, do you coach, do you coach? And then maybe there's a time to launch an offer and make a quick CTA and then get right back to the value.
Perfect. Awesome. Thanks for the advice, man.
You got it, bro. Faye, you want to close us out strong, my man?
What's up, man? I appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. I guess my question really quick is, I was making like day in the life, like skit comedy videos since I was like playing college football, and I want to get into like online coaching. I have a decent amount of followers, so I'm kind of thinking about like talking about my experience. Like I posted a video on my Instagram that I posted on my TikTok a while ago. It's about like talking about what college football workouts are really like, and it got like 30,000 views. So how much of my content should be like me talking about my prior experience, like working out, playing football, all that kind of stuff, or should I more focus on like more fitness related topics? But yeah.
How much of it do you want to be that?
I think it could be like at least 25% because like it is part of my story. Like, and not a lot of people can say they played at like a D1 football, like a school like Penn State. So just that in itself, like I could grab someone's attention if I just mention it off rip in a video. So that's kind of where my thought process is at.
Yeah, why 25%? Why not 50? And I'm not telling you it should be 50. I just want to know why 25.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the number I just threw out, but it definitely could be more. That's what I've been doing up until this point. So, I mean, I could definitely continue doing it, but I do want to transition more into like online coaching, getting those people that are interested in that kind of stuff. Because when I'm talking about like college football, I'm getting like high school kids that want to like get recruited and stuff like that, which is fine. Like one day they're going to grow up and like maybe they're playing football, maybe they're not, and they want to work with me, but I want to target people that want coaching like right now.
Yeah, dude. So what I'm going to tell you is it sounds like you don't even know how much of that you want that content to be, because you just said, I just threw that number out there. I've done that before. That's fine. You wanted an answer to my question, but the reason I asked you that question is because I want you to really think about what you want. Like ask myself, what do I want? Purest form. Do I want freedom? You don't want to be a coach. You want the freedom or financial abundance that coaching will provide you, or you want the fulfillment that coaching will provide you. You want the feeling. You don't want the fame. What amount of your content will give you that? Is it 50%? Is it 75%? Is it whatever the fuck you want? There's no wrong answer. There is just the answer. So my advice to you would be, if you feel convicted to do that right now, give yourself the permission to switch and pivot into as much of that as you want, or as little of that as you want. And also realize, well, the less I talk about it, the less aware people are going to be. I mean, dude, I have a podcast. I've uploaded every week for almost a year, and people are still like, you have a podcast? Clearly, I'm not talking about it enough. So if you want to grow that side of the business, you're convicted about it, it gives you fulfillment, passion. It sounds like right now you should be in a season of making more of that content. That's my take.
I definitely appreciate that. I think I'm going to definitely go with that then.
For sure, man. Yeah. A lot of this just comes down to giving ourselves permission to operate from a place of inspiration, and more importantly, giving yourself permission to change your position whenever you see fit. That's authenticity, and that is personal brand.
Well, Michael, thank you so much for doing this. This is a incredible hour. I learned a lot. You know, it's really cool just hearing from you. So yeah, I mean, we all thank you, and yeah, hopefully we could do it again sometime.
For sure. I appreciate you guys. Thank y'all for taking the time to sit down in the middle of a Friday. I'm going to go get some steps in and make a video maybe. I appreciate y'all as well. This was really fun for me and good practice for me. I hope you guys got something out of it, and you guys know where to find me if you need me on social media. Take care, guys.
Awesome.
Thank you so
Have
much.
a good one, Michael. Later, guys.
Thank
Have a
you.
good weekend. Bye.
Thank you, man.
Have a good one, guys.